Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. Back with the gang for a Valentine's Day weekish edition. Right, guys?
Woo!
Got Travis, Chad, Nick, Kyle. Kyle, how's the corner over there?
Pretty nice, pretty warm.
He's hanging out in the corner all by himself. Except for he's got two chairs over there. Hey, you brought two chairs. That's sweet. You got a friend coming? Are you bringing a friend, Kyle? Imaginary friend. I like it.
At least he got a seat.
Hey, Travis, this is great weather to buy a snowmobile in, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm switching over to water skipping.
It's just, what, an inch of rain today predicted?
It's going to be nasty.
This is going to be great for snowmobile trails.
They said it's going to get rid of all the snow.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to melt 99% of it, and then old Travie over there is going to have his brand new snowmobile with 138 miles on it.
We're going up north now.
He's going to trade it for a boat.
He's going to trade it for a boat.
I did
He ain't going to
actually
trade it for a
threaten.
boat. He's just going to use it as a boat.
It will, yeah.
What was that?
I got nothing.
I got nothing. Chad, what'd you do this weekend? You were on vacation.
Yeah, I had a long weekend. It was great.
I know, we talked about the employee of the month, and then you left.
It's what sounds like the best employee of the month. Unless the employee of the year for that.
Yeah, you just literally podcast over, and deuces, I'm
Deuces.
out.
I had a couple hours after that, but pretty close.
Pretty close. Haven't barely talked to you. I got a picture, though, of you in your sweet new office.
Got the nice curved screen.
Yeah.
Looking sweet in the file cabinet. So
How big is that screen? I got to ask.
I think it's 49 inches.
49 inches. It is awesome, guys. It's like 3 screens together, and it's got this big curve to it. It's just super awesome.
Do you like the curve part of it?
Oh, yeah.
See, I've got the two 28-inch curved screens, and I love them.
See, that's big, though, because that's 56
Yeah.
inches, so it's more compact than that.
Yeah. Yours is...
But it's all one monitor, so
That's what's cool about it.
Yeah, so
It's you could slide from one end to the other end and never cross a threshold, like a gap. No, it's awesome. That's a
Yeah.
cool one. I got that picture from him last night.
Yeah, that, and I got the file cabinet, so I got all my important papers out of my dresser finally.
Nice.
It's a part of growing up, I guess.
You gotta be a grown up now. Oh, it's cool though. Your new office at your house that you put together is pretty sweet.
Yeah. No,
Your
it's
new
a-
Beats laboratory.
Just for the record, just for the record, you cannot work from home. I'm just gonna answer that question right now.
Can if you call in.
Fair. Oh man, Travis, what'd you do this weekend?
Hung out with the wife. That's about it. Took her out for our Valentine's early since I knew I'd be working late all week like usual.
No.
Did you go to 98 pounds buffet?
I keep forgetting to actually go to that place. No, we went to our Tokyo Grill. It's a sushi and steak place.
You took her to McDonald's.
That's why I would have taken her.
Absolutely.
They don't have a $1 menu anymore. I can't afford it.
If you get 2 McChickens, the second one's $1.
True.
I don't eat that garbage.
Nick, what'd you do this weekend?
I didn't do much. I can't remember anything that I did, actually.
Nothing
It's pretty low key. Just
Must have been
kinda
a
hung
really
out.
good weekend. If you
I
don't
could tell him
remember
what
it.
he didn't do.
Watch the Super Bowl.
He did
I
not make us any food for Monday.
There's no Monday food.
No
Right,
Monday
I
food
did.
this week.
Did not earn Employee of the Month this weekend.
Yeah, we all watched the Super Bowl. Everybody watched Super Bowl here?
I watched it.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Now I say Travis doesn't even know what the Super Bowl is.
No, I don't even have television.
Not a chance he watched Super Bowl. He didn't even know there was a game going on.
Saw a bunch of memes on Facebook.
That's
about
good.
it.
Yeah. It was a decent game, right?
Kind
Decent
of a
game.
bad ending, but
Yeah. Decent game.
it's okay.
It was all right. I was okay with the outcome.
Yeah.
Anyone but the Eagles.
Anyone but the Eagles. I saw a picture or a video of them having to grease up the light poles in Philadelphia before the game.
Yep. I guess
That-
that's common there.
I guess it's common to climb the light poles or something. I don't know. Like I know nothing about it, but
They were flipping over cars before the game even started. Those people are crazy, man. Like,
I was
I don't get
reading,
it.
I was reading comments, and they were all just like, "It's a Philly thing."
it's a Philly thing. That's
much,
crazy. I've never been there, so I can't speak for it. But yeah, that's something I saw though. Is they were greasing up the light poles so people didn't climb them. I thought that was kind of cool.
Greasing up the light poles and rolling cars before the game started.
Pre-rolled. They were pre-rolled cars. I like it.
Like,
But yeah, I know last week we talked a little bit about the employee of the month and thought, looking forward a little bit, actually Nick and I were talking a little bit, and it seems like finding inspiration in your business is a topic that I thought we should talk about. And, it's so easy, like I said, Nick actually recommended this, but, I thought it was a great direction because it's so easy to lose your direction in your business, and especially, to find some negatives in the world right now. It's not that hard, right? I mean, you can find all the negatives you want, and really looking for those positives is something that I think you should maybe revisit sometimes. And especially if you have a CNC machine, it's, starting to look at finding that inspiration in your business. And what is that? And, people can easily get caught up in a rut and lose that inspiration. And then they kind of lose what got them started. And many times the inspiration is what made you successful to begin with, And so I guess, what do you guys think about when trying to find some inspiration? I guess, where do you guys kind of go with that?
I go to TikTok.
You got a TikTok for inspiration?
Watch inspirational videos. David Goggins or whatever, that military guy yelling at me, telling me I'm a loser.
Telling me I'm a loser. I like it. That's solid. So Chad goes to TikTok. Does anybody else have anything else inspirational? No?
I guess cat's got my tongue. I have no idea.
How do you find inspiration?
I come to ShopSabre every day.
There we go.
I'm inspired by ShopSabre
Aw, I like it. I like what he's saying. Keep going. Don't stop.
and CNC machines.
I think you're inspired by money.
ShopSabre.com.
He's inspired by
I am
money.
inspired by money. That's why I come to work every day.
Hey, there we go.
I mean, I think for me, I know it seems like every episode I mention this, but like being the new guy, for me, I think it's learning and figuring out more things that these machines can do. And the questions that our customers call or email with and ask, so that I can answer more of these questions instead of having to send them down the line to somebody else and save that, the trouble of trying to connect them with somebody or whatever. So that's kind of the motivation for me to figure out more answers to the questions that you think you know all the answers to, but then the next time you get an email, it's another question you don't know the answer to. So just kind of learning more of that stuff and figuring it all out.
That still happens to me after being here for almost 5 years. Every day an email pops up, you don't know the answer to. But I also find inspiration from looking back, a year ago where I was at versus where I'm at today. And if you keep accomplishing goals, you can always look back at where you were a year ago and find inspiration on where you're at today.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said when you look back to go forward sometimes. You look at where you came from. It can make you realize, like, even though you don't see transformation always, that there is transformation occurring. It's kind of like that before and after photo when you're on a diet, right?
Yep.
People, you don't see it in yourself, right? You're on a diet and all you feel is, oh man, I'm starving. I want this, or oh man, I don't want to work out today, or whatever it is. But then people walk up to you and they're like, man, you look really good. And it's that like a little inspiration you need to like, okay, I'm going to keep pushing because people are noticing, and I think that's something that you need to think about in your business, that sometimes you do all these little things and you're doing things at work and you don't feel like you're getting recognition for those things, but people are noticing them. It's just, they're not necessarily going out of their way to say it right away, but eventually when they do, it really makes it all worth it, and it's one of those things where it's really nice to have something pay off over a long period of time. And some of that is with relationship to your business. Like, how do you take that stress off your plate? Like, I even look at where I'm at, like, believe it or not, like 10 years ago when we started doing this, like the way the marketing was done, I mean, we did advertising in magazines. Like, that's what we were doing. Like,
It's crazy to think about.
like that's what we did. Like, we didn't even have a Facebook page when I started. Like, when I started at ShopSabre, there was no Facebook page. Like, we didn't have that. Like, our website was like old school. Like, it was super old school. Like, and I think about that, and it's like where we've gone today, where we literally educate through our website and we use video content. And even like Router Bob, when, Bob and I first started talking and, I got, in discussion with him about, him wanting to join the team, it was one of those things where like, we didn't have any of that. It was me on a cell phone, like talking, like just some basic stuff, but like it got the point across, but it wasn't to the level we are today. And so you kind of look at where you've come from, and it really provides that inspiration that all these hard projects you're working on are worth it in the end, because they're going to get you to that next step. And, even with some of the videos that we've done now compared to where we were, it's like there was times that like we were filming till 4:00 in the morning. Like, I remember being here at ShopSabre 4 a.m. with the video stuff all set up, because the shop was so noisy during the day. I couldn't even start filming something until everybody else went home for the night. So I'd come in the morning at 7:00 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning and open the shop up, get everything going for everybody to do their job. I'd do my job throughout the day. And then I really couldn't start my marketing stuff till 5:30 at the earliest. Like, there's nights that they'd work till 6 or 7. And so until they were ready to be quiet and shut the air compressors down and, shut the stuff down, I couldn't even get started. And so there was nights we'd get started at 7:00 at night. Like I would take phone calls from my kids telling me good night. And then I would take off working. And it would be, we'd be sitting here and we'd be shooting film. And sometimes we'd be done by 10 o'clock. But there's some projects that we had a couple projects we worked on that the project was 4 hours long. So now you're setting up cameras and moving cameras plus a 4 hour project. I will never forget it. There was a night we went home at 4:30 in the morning. I pulled into my house at 4:45.
That's crazy.
When I pulled into my house, I remember like going straight upstairs, taking a shower, going to bed, setting my alarm for 6:30. Like I was going to go in late that day. 6:30 was late, Like I set my alarm for 6:30. I was up, showered. I was at ShopSabre by 7:45. So like I left here at 4:30 in the morning and was here at 7:30.
I'm pretty sure that was like right after I started.
Yeah. I think you were just getting started at that time. And like I just remember like that was not abnormal for me though. Like working all night long to get things accomplished because I had to do it when everybody, when I wasn't inconveniencing everybody else around me. I couldn't ask the guys in the shop, "Hey, can you be quiet for 3 hours?" Like they have a job to do. Like, "Oh yeah, please just don't run any power tools. Turn that mill off. Don't weld." Like you can't ask them to just not do their jobs. They're all provided for their families too. And plus we have customers that are depending on us. But you don't see that. When you go watch those videos, you don't see that video as a 4:30 in the morning video. Like you look at them and it's like, even myself, like sometimes I forget which video it was until I go watch it. And I'm like, oh, I remember that. Like the project itself sticks out. But like the video doesn't look any different than the other ones. And it's like the customers, how many people have watched those videos at 4:30 in the morning? How many people have watched them at night? And it's like, that's the stuff that kind of gets me excited about it. So for myself, I think of a lot of the reasons we got started, right? I try to always keep the start of where we came from in my mind and then look at where we've gone and where we've come from, and it's a good reminder many times that no matter how difficult something gets, you've accomplished a lot, right? And you've made it a lot further than probably some people ever thought you would. Like at the end of the day, there's people that thought you were going to fail. Somebody out there right now listening to this, like your cabinet business, your sign shop, remember you had that family member when you told them you were starting your business that thought you were crazy. Remember that. Somebody out there listening right now, you have that family member. Like everybody does. Everybody has that one person in their life that doesn't believe in them. Simple as that. Like, yeah, he's going to fail. It's not going to work. Travis, how many people told you were going to fail in sales when you started doing sales because you started at ShopSabre? And
a lot
zero?
of people.
I remember these stories. That's why I bring it up. Like,
switching completely. I mean, not that I didn't enjoy my job before, but it was a dead end job, working in a warehouse, driving a forklift. I enjoyed it, but sales was always my passion. And you guys gave me the opportunity. I ran with it. And now here I am 6 years later, and I would have never changed it for the world.
But that's my point. Like there was people that obviously we won't get into the detail, but there was people that straight up told you that it was a bad idea.
I remember the first time I made a Facebook post, and I was like, I'm super excited for this new job. They're like, you got to worry about your mortgage. You got to worry about this. You got to worry about that. What if it fails? I'm not going to fail.
Yeah,
I'm not taking a job thinking I'm going to, give up on it.
That's the attitude, right? You go into like failure isn't an option.
Correct.
Like, so I'm not worried about failing because it's not an option.
Yep.
Like Nick, you just changed jobs recently. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody in your life that saw that you changed jobs and was thinking, why would you, you had a state job, we'll call it, right? I'm not going to get into the detail of what you did, but I'll let you discuss that if you wish to. But you left a job that was state backed, right?
For sure.
To come to this. Yeah. And there has to be somebody in your life that was probably like foolish, right? I mean, what are you doing?
They think you have a state job working for 20 years, you got a sweet retirement, whatever, but just working a job for that sole reason isn't going to get you good results in the end. I mean, just going to work every day just for the paycheck or for the retirement isn't the way to live or go about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I love it because I actually know Nick's fiance from before. Actually, I knew her from a previous job I had, but it's cool to see even her posts and the stuff on Facebook and the stuff she says and just the way their family is about him changing jobs, like him being able to be there and be with the family more, and like the stuff you've shared, some of the cool things you've got to do with your kids recently, and it's like. These things were possible because Nick took a risk, right? Decided to make a change. Chad, same thing goes to you, man. Like you left a career that, you've been in that same career for as long as I've known you.
Since I was 16.
Yeah. So as long as I've known you. That's how I met you too, as a previous job. And, obviously that being said, like you left something that you were 1,000% certain you knew. I mean, you knew everything about it. You were the guy. There wasn't something in that industry that caught you off guard ever. And you completely just one day said, I'm switching. I'm doing something I want to do for me, right?
Yep.
And how many people doubted you?
A few.
You know?
But people, when they doubt you, they're just projecting their own beliefs of themselves onto you.
Correct.
If they're saying you can't do it, it's because they know that they can't do it and they want to try to bring you down to their level.
Well, I've always said that. Like, I feel like, you know, it's so easy to find people who will give you the negatives because obviously it kind of goes, and I'm going to touch on this. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. My point is as you look at CNC machines, right? You're thinking about buying a CNC machine, and you look at one of these machines that ShopSabre builds as an example, and somebody's going to tell you that they have a cheap machine that you should buy instead, right? Oh, just go buy this cheap one, right? Go buy this brand. You know, and they name these brands that are imported out of China, or they have low quality, you know, ratings on them, but it saves you 10 grand. Well, of course, misery loves company, right? Nobody's going to tell you to go buy something better than theirs. Like, very few people. I shouldn't say nobody. There are some good people out there that were just like, don't buy what I had. I wish I would have just done this, right? They're going to do that. There's lots of people that will tell you that too. But my point is there's a lot of people in this world that don't want to see you succeed. There's a lot of people that are looking at you through failure. They are hoping you fail. I think the hardest thing for a lot of people in life is understanding that not every single person in their life wants to see them successful. And I think that is by far the hardest thing in life to learn, is that you're not going to be liked by everyone, right? You know, some people just want to see you struggle, fall, fail, and give up. It's what they want from you. Learning to do what you need to do versus what others expect is a form of peace that you can't even, is probably the greatest form of peace in my opinion. Like, there's things that you will gain out of it as soon as you can realize that you're taking care of your business and yourself. And it might not be what status quo says, right? But you do it for yourself. And so again, it's getting out of that rut, finding your inspiration. What was the reason you got started in business? Why did you decide to do this? Find that inspiration. And, you know, again, I look at it, you know, for even me, you know, I look at it, I find a lot of motivation in proving people and the odds wrong. Like, I do. That's my motivation. Like, I love to prove people wrong. Like, it is one of my favorite things to do. Like, tell me I can't so I can show you I can. Like, just give me a reason to, you know? And then you look at, you know, sometimes it's just like an underdog story, right? Who doesn't like an underdog story? Honestly. Everybody likes an underdog story, right? I feel like there's something to it, and I don't know how to explain it. But, you know, just like I said, my family grew up in the country. Like, my dad founded this company literally from our house in the country, like in his home shop. Like, it's cool to see what it's grown to be. But how many people told my dad he was crazy? How many people told my dad he was never going to succeed at this, you know? And now let me ask you this. How many people can say Google needed them? Like, how many people can say that? Because, you know, they own a ShopSabre. So to me, that's cool. It reminds me that even small things can become very large things with enough effort. Like, my dad put all his time, energy, blood, sweat, tears. Like, I've seen my dad go through some struggling times trying to get this business off of the ground many years ago. And then Google called me up one day. I answered that phone call. Hey, I'm so-and-so from Google. And I almost hung up on him. I was like, I don't need any help with Google AdWords, bro. Like, almost hung up on him. He's like, I'm calling because we need a CNC machine. I'm like, wait, what?
ShopSabre.com.
I was like, you seen this online before? Go to Bing.com. I'll show you where we're at. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but it was cool. Like, they called us. I didn't solicitate them. They called us. And then I started talking to them, and we started going through stuff. And, like, it is kind of cool because you're using your website to show them things. And they're like, oh, yeah, let me just Google it. Like, yeah, okay, like, do you go down the hall to ask for help on that? Or how does Google work when you're in Google? Like, how's that whole thing working? Like, man, Google's not giving me the results. Hey, Harry, page 3's broken on Google. Can you fix that? Like, I don't know how that works, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, you know, Google is a customer of ours, and I thought that was pretty sweet. You know, and you think of all the other companies that we've worked with over the years, and I know you guys have had that same, you know, as you guys have grown, you know, here within this industry, you've had that same experience of working with some companies that you're like, I've used their products.
Yep.
And now they're a customer of mine, you know, like, how cool is that?
That's pretty awesome, actually.
You know, when you think about that, it's inspiration for me. It's inspirational because I'm helping a lot of people, and it's big and small, right? And what inspiration in business do you look for? Let's go there. I look for problems and try to solve them. That's me. Like I always try to find something that people are struggling with, right? Whether it's labor shortages or it's accuracy or, they can't solve a problem in their business and therefore ShopSabre can help them, right? Man, we're so busy. We're working 80 hours a week. Like, okay, well, let's get you down to 40. Let's figure out how to do that. Let's get you a CNC machine, right? And I guess you could call me a fixer, right? Because I truly try to repair things around me, and maybe it comes from wrecking race cars so much. I don't know. I wreck a lot of stuff, so maybe it's just I like to fix things. But honestly, though, in business, you have to look at why you're doing something. Like, what's the reason you are in business? Ask yourself that. Why did you start doing the job you're doing right now? Or why did you create the business that you've created? Why are you where you are right now in your life? What's your story? Let's just start there. What's your story? I think about ShopSabre again, coming from my dad's home. We needed a machine. Honestly, it was for his wife. Like he needed to build a machine for his wife, and it kind of snowballed. It began, by my dad trying to find machines to buy and didn't like what he could buy, and then eventually built something. And then other people started seeing it and realized like they needed one. And so my dad started selling them machines. And, I think about how many people have we helped over the years? The business owners who've worked their tails off. Again, let's talk about that 80-hour guy. The reason I say that is because like it's a story I remember. But there was, a customer of ours that straight up told my dad like he's not getting to go to, sporting events with his kids and he's not being able to spend family time. And he's working 80 hours a week. And my dad told him the CNC machine is going to change your life. And this is like back when CNC machines were still like the future. Like, yeah, it's crazy fad. Nobody's ever going to be able to do it. Like it was like Google. Like when it first came out and everybody was like, crazy fad, it's going to disappear. Like the library is going to kick its butt. Like what? But you think about it, and that's what my dad was trying to do, is explain to people CNC machines were the answer. And, think about it. How many people feel like they're still slipping behind after 80-hour work weeks, right? You get all this work done and you've spent 80 hours working and, oh my God, did we make any progress? We have so much to do next week. Like, you shouldn't be falling behind like that every week. The people who've been touched by this technology and its capabilities, like, think of all the kids' football games that now people have gone to because they've bought ShopSabre technology, right? How many hockey games? How many soccer games? Whatever. Parents have missed so much stuff previously because work wouldn't complete itself, and obviously paying for those sports took a priority over being at them, right? You got to pay for hockey. Well, somebody's got to go to work to pay for hockey. So, okay, well, little Tommy, enjoy hockey tonight. Good luck, bud. Dad's got to work. Mom's got to work. Like, the CNC machine has helped some of these people make those things. And I'm not saying, like, we've changed the world, but have we changed somebody's world? I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what I look at is that, talking to that family, that gentleman, yeah, he ended up buying a ShopSabre. And, yeah, like a year later, he called my dad up really emotional and was just like, man, like, this thing has changed my life. And he straight up told my dad, like, it has changed my life. Like, I've made every one of my kids' games this year. I've worked less. He goes, I'll be honest, until I had gotten my tax statement, I actually thought we were making less money, and I thought buying the ShopSabre was a mistake. He's like, I didn't realize I was actually doing more business this year than I did the year previously. It's just I didn't have to work as hard. So it naturally makes you think you're working less, but he made more money on paper. Biggest year of his entire life was the year he bought a ShopSabre.
Those are always the best stories to hear.
Dude, love it. And
We got that call from the guy
Yeah.
at the end of November last year. Remember that? It's going to be the first Christmas that he was able to spend with his
Yeah.
two daughters that were just turning, I think they were just about to become teenagers.
Yep.
So their whole young life, he was never there for Christmas because he always had to work.
Yep.
Bought our equipment, got caught up, and was able to take the last 2 weeks of the year off.
I was saying, yeah, wasn't that the case? Like, it was like the week before Christmas, and he's like, I'm done for the year. I'm just going to clean my shop now. That's all I got left to do. But, like, I'm not going to work any overtime at all. I'm going to be able to spend Christmas the whole week with my family.
Full attention to the family,
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear stuff like that.
And then in January, he didn't even write us an email angry at us that he had to spend a week with his family. It was pretty awesome. But no, it's like, seriously, you think about that, and it's some cool stuff there that we've, gotten to be a part of. And, I think about the thousands of people who've had experience with ShopSabre products and have had changed their ways of doing business, who've become more financially free and become less time handcuffed. Like you can, like, as you said, take that week off, spend it with your family. Think about the growth that many people have experienced over the years, right?
Right.
Even here, You know, in the short time that I've been here, it's in a 30,000 square foot building to start. Travis, obviously, you were here. You know, we had to move in the desks, move in the people, in that short time. So I can only imagine the little steps your dad had to take year after year to get the build up that he had going to have all the changes happen the way that they did. You know, it was probably a lot of hard work.
Well, and one thing I was going to say is like when I started here, I would say we're probably under 30 employees. Now we're at like around 100. You know,
I think we were just over 20, Travis, when you started, man. Like
it was insane. It was. I mean, we could almost run across the shop and touch the other wall in 2 seconds and run back to our desk. Now I'm like huffing and puffing, trying to run to 100,000 square foot, you know, to the other end of the building and back.
There were 10, maybe 11 people in the office when I started. In the office, not out back, but office people, like maybe even including your dad.
That's crazy.
Like that's how small it was.
That's funny. Yeah, you think about like it's cool, and that's the inspiration that I find is where we've come from and what we've accomplished, and where are we going to be in 3 more years, 5 more years? Where are we going to be? What are we going to be? Like ShopSabre like started as this little crazy idea. Like what if my dad had given up? Like the first time he ran into trouble.
I think in 3 years we'll be working from home.
No. No.
Everyone heard the laughter before that.
Yeah, it's crazy though when you think about it, like where we've come and what we've accomplished, and like, you know, I want you to think about that with your businesses. Like this isn't about ShopSabre here. This is about, you know, using ShopSabre as the avenue to talk about these things because it's what I know. But like, I hope while I'm telling some of these stories, you're reminiscing about some of the things you've accomplished and how you've gotten there, and you know, like just think about where people's lives have come and gone from. And yeah, are there things we could have done differently? Is there things I wish I would have done differently in my life? Absolutely. Like, are there things like we could be better at? Yeah. Is there things I could be better at? Yeah. But like, inspiration is the opportunity to keep moving forward, right?
And you got to learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
That's how you've gotten better.
That's what makes us human. We all make
Correct.
mistakes, but like, you move forward. You don't keep dwelling on mistakes. Like, you move forward. Feel bad for yourself for today. Okay? Feel bad today. Throw some dirt on that wound and move forward. Like, it's time. Like, yeah, okay, you made a mistake, right?
You're not going to do that again.
Yeah, you just don't do it again, right? It's don't make a habit out of it, right? And within your business, like, yeah, you're going to find reasons and you're going to find ruts and you're going to find things that slow you down. Don't make habits out of them. That's where people fail, I think, is when they become stuck in this trench of crap and they just can't get themselves out of it. And then they start blaming everybody else and they want to, you know, oh, if this person would have just done this differently, I'd be better. Like, stop. Like, there's a million things you could have done differently too. Just move forward. And one of those things you could do is buy ShopSabre.
ShopSabre.com.
That was good. That was good, wasn't it?
That was a good one.
I like that one. Thank you. But yeah, you know, when you hit that rut though, guys, let me ask you, what's the best way that you guys get yourselves out of ruts? Like, what's some of the things you guys do in your life when you find yourself in one of those moments?
I don't sit still. I don't just like sit. You know, you got to keep moving, keep doing something.
Yeah.
If you stay complacent or stay in the same spot, nothing's going to change.
Can't expect things to change by doing the same thing over and over, right? Isn't there something with some
The
definition?
definition of insanity.
Yeah, isn't it? I was going to say, this definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Correct.
Yeah. What about you, Travis? How do you find yourself getting out of ruts?
Well, for me, it's like I'll kind of refer back to work because, you know, that's what I know most about. And you'll catch me in a rut, right? You'll just be like, hey, man, you're not acting like yourself. You're not chipper on the phone. You know, there's not much banter going on around the office. What's going on? And a lot of times I don't even realize I'm necessarily in a rut. But after I have the conversation, I feel better. And I'm like, I'm going to move on. You know, I'm not going to keep doing what I'm doing because obviously other people are seeing it. But that's it happens all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Travis just said I was right. I just want everybody to hear that.
I thought you were going to announce February's Employee of the Month already.
No, Travis just said I was right. I just want to make sure everybody caught that.
I think Travis gets out of his rut by burning tires and whipping wheelies on a dirt bike.
Yeah, oh, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my truck does take the brunt of my moods if they're swinging.
That's funny. No, but you know, I obviously making light of the situation, but it's true. Like, that's part of my job though. And I think a lot of people in management could learn from that is, and I'm not saying that like I'm this perfect manager. Trust me, I make plenty of mistakes myself, but I try to learn from managers before me. And I've been fortunate enough. I've had a lot of leaders around me that have taught me a lot of great things. And I try to learn from leaders. And that's my big thing is I've had some really, really good people in my life that have taught me how to be better and how to handle different situations. Trust me, I've handled some situations pretty poorly, and I just try to keep getting better. And the one thing about it is, as a manager, is trying to understand your employees and your team members and the people around you. And I try to learn your tendencies. And I think that's a big part of it. You know, as people listen to this, is understanding your employees is a big part of it, because you're going to see a lot of times when they're in a rut before they realize they're in a rut.
Yep.
Like I see it. Like I feel like I'm pretty good at reading people around me. And like, I see it in Travis, like when that attitude changes, it's like, hey bud, something going on over there. And it's like, suddenly you're like, well, what's going on? And like you catch it then. And then I kind of break down what I've seen. And then you're like, oh, well, yeah, this is, and 90% of the time there's something you always have going on in the background that you're like, oh yeah, this happened. But you can see it's affecting you.
But then once we talk about it, I realize it. I'm like, oh shit, I just need to move on from this. Like this
like
is
you're holding
not,
on to it. You know,
it's causing me to be derailed at work.
Yeah, like buying a Yamaha snowmobile, you just can't let go of it. Yeah, no, it is the truth though. And I'm fortunate enough, I've built a really good team around me. And I've always said I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I certainly don't want to have all the skill in the room. I hire people that have skills I don't have. And Chad's really good at actually reading a room as well. And I've been fortunate enough that when I miss something sometimes, Chad will be like, hey, heads up, did you catch that today? And I'm like, no, what happened? And he'll just be like, hey, I noticed, so-and-so said something. And it allows me to go, oh, and go ask, hey, is everything okay? And then sometimes that'll open up conversations too, or, vice versa. You're kind of good at that too, Travis. Sometimes you're like, hey, just a heads up, I overheard this today. Like, might be worth your attention,
right.
if this is actually going on. And it just allows us, rather than in a business, it's so easy that the boss misses one thing, right? And that one employee suddenly feels underappreciated because, he just doesn't even care. No, it's not that I don't care. I missed it. But I'm fortunate enough, I have enough people around me that sometimes catch it for me, and they're like, hey, just a heads up. And it allows me to go, hey, man, I missed this yesterday. Sorry. Like, is there something we need to go through? And it just allows you to get that negative energy out of the building because that you just talk about it, right? Like, I think the Minnesota passive aggressive is a real thing, right? Like you're feeling negative about something, but you don't want to say it because you don't want to hurt somebody's feeling. But really, it should be addressed. So I'm not going to say anything. They'll figure it out. And eventually they don't figure it out. And now it's 3 weeks later and everybody's pissed off now because nobody's getting anything accomplished. And it's like, it all started because somebody just didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Like, let's tell me what's going on. Let's figure it out, right? And I think that can be said about anybody in your life. When you find that rut, you got to talk about that rut. What is that rut that you got going on? What is bugging you? What's going on that's getting us to this point where we have this feeling? And sometimes that'll change the entire dynamic of your company.
Yep.
Find out why your employees are mad. They're tired of cutting things by hand, right? So-and-so just bought a new shiny CNC machine down the road, and his employees are bragging about it, and we're all friends, and we saw each other at the bar on Saturday, and they didn't have to work Saturday, and I did, so now I'm pissed because we're cutting things by hand, and so-and-so's team was at that same bar that I was at Saturday night. You don't even realize that happened, but your employee left work on Saturday because he had a good day Saturday with you. You guys, everything was good, but he went to the bar Saturday night, and he ran into Jake's cabinet shop because they were out there having a good time because they didn't work Saturday. And now you're pissed. Like, why the hell is he over there not working on Saturday and we're sitting here trying to get this job out on the last minute? Little things like that can happen. And it's like, CNC machine would solve that entire problem, right? Hey, maybe we do need to get a machine. Maybe I'm burning people out. Maybe we're making things harder on ourselves. Like, hey, Chad just had to cut the same cabinets 3 times, and now he's pissed because the only reason he had to cut it 3 times is because Travis couldn't cut it right. Is Chad going to be pissed? Yeah. But if we had a CNC machine, Travis wouldn't have screwed that up. Well, maybe Travis still would have screwed it up. But no guarantees. Travis still could have screwed that up. But my point is like, you got to think about those things and where you're going with your business and get yourself out of those ruts. I don't know. That's just my opinion on that. I guess, Nick, what's your opinion? I mean, obviously I've kind of ran off on a little tangent here with Travis's answer, but
yeah, I mean, I think it's about the same thing we all talked about. You can't just let it fester and sit there and hope that it just goes away. You got to put the positive spin on it, dig yourself out of that little hole, and move on to the next thing and make the best of it. And whatever happened in the past is in the past, and time to move on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the truth. Is like, you have to let go of the past. You have to be willing to put yourself in a position to make light of a situation, right? And my way, when I look at it, getting out of a rut is surrounding myself with good people. As I've said, I know it takes a village to raise kids, they say, right? Well, it takes an army to build a business. That's my honest opinion there. Like, you have to have people around you that believe in you and your product. Just like there's going to be haters and people who want to see you fail and think that no matter what you do, somebody will find a negative in it, right? I mean, you could end world hunger and somebody's going to be pissed because you're going to, stop the food shelves from having a job, right? Like there's going to be something. Like somebody will find a negative in it. Like you have to rely on those people though when you need to find inspiration. Find the people that actually are rooting for you, your cheerleaders, the people in your corner who want to see you win. Like those are the people you go talk to. And I always try to look at what we've accomplished and then think about what could we accomplish next. Okay, we've done this, but how can we make that bigger? How can we make it better? There's so many things you could do there. And sometimes you just have to let your imagination work, right? Be creative. Try new things, right? Throw, away new things. Sometimes they don't work, right? You try a new thing and it's terrible. Well, that didn't work. Throw it away. Don't sit there and hang on to it. Like, there's so many people that this is the next big thing, and they hang on to it for 6 years, and it never becomes the next big thing, but they wasted 6 years of their life trying to make it the next big thing.
Wait, are you talking about me? I've been here around 6 years.
Yeah. Travis, we're going to let you go.
This is my last podcast.
What a way to be fired.
No, Travis already knows. I already told him. You're doing great things, Travis. You just have to do great things elsewhere.
And it's going to be on a Friday, hopefully, not a Monday.
No, I'm doing it on like a Thursday. Catch you off guard. Wednesday at 2. No, but that's the truth though. Is like you have to let go of things that just don't work, and don't beat yourself up because it failed. Like learn from it. What didn't work about it, and what's the next thing you're gonna try? I've always lived with the phrase, you can have anything that you want in the world as long as you help enough people get what they want. And it's the truth. Like your customers need something from you. That's why they buy from you. Help them get what they are trying to accomplish, and trust me, they will continue to help you get what you want. Same with your employees, Now, let's just talk about equipment in your shop. What a CNC machine can do to your business and your inspiration. What do you guys think?
They can add automation. They can add happiness to your employees, and you can make more money.
Those are 3 pretty good things. Good luck, Travis. What's next?
I read those off of Travis's sheet before we got in here. Same with my first answer. That's why I didn't have anything to say after.
That's funny.
Well, that was like good kudos to me, I guess, but it wasn't true, unfortunately.
Joke's on you. Travis doesn't read. Travis doesn't read these things. Are you kidding me? He doesn't have any idea what we're talking about.
I came in here and I was like, "Hey, what's this podcast about today?"
What's today's topic?
I guess, I mean, the biggest thing, too, is your employees. We talk about employees, inspiration. The CNC is obviously going to make people happy. It's something new. They're not going to come into the same thing every day. Oh, I'm going to go run that table saw again. That thing's really nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to get rid of that table saw, and now I'm going to learn this new CNC machine. And some people like programming. Some people don't. When I talk to a lot of people that are, new to this world, they are obviously nervous about it. And it's something as simple as, hey, why don't you just go try the software?
Yeah.
Just
and I think that's
do a
natural.
trial.
You're going to get nervous about anything that's new. So that's good. Like I said, trying to tell people, just try it.
So you talk to these people for the first conversation. You get them kind of excited. They obviously wanted to reach out to me for a CNC machine to begin with. But by the end of the conversation, now they're actually amped up. They're like, man, I didn't realize I could turn my cabinet shop into doing furniture as well. I thought I was just buying a cabinet machine. No, now you can even create something. Like I've got a couple of these guys that are builders, and they say, well, at the end of the year, we've got some people that, spend a lot of money with us. We want to make something cool for them, like a cutting board or something. It's easy to do with a CNC machine. You didn't know you could do something like that before. So that's kind of the way I think the CNC is going to help your mojo in your business. Your employees are going to be happy. Like you say, they're not going to work as hard. You're not going to have to possibly work on Saturdays anymore. Or if you are, it's because you're, not doing the overtime you were before, but maybe a couple hours on Saturday. I don't know.
How about a beer?
More time for beer.
More time for beer. Yeah. That's a really good point. Like you said, it's just that versatility ability. Nick, obviously, like you said, you're still learning about some of this, but, what's your opinion on the CNC and what it's doing for people's businesses?
I mean, I think I can relate it to a kid who, I guess I shouldn't say kid. Him and his dad bought a machine recently, and they have a cabinet shop. And he emails once or twice a day. He'll call a couple times a week just to kind of, ask questions because, like he said, it's a big change for him and his dad that have been cutting stuff on a table saw.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of questions, but at the same time, he's super excited because now they're going to be able to do so much more work, and they can take on more jobs. And he finally convinced his dad, who's kind of old school, and wanted to continue doing it by hand in their way that they know doing it right. But he's super happy that now he convinced his dad to get this machine, and hopefully they can obviously expand their business to do way more and have less time doing the the hands-on work and let the machine do it.
And the excitement that it built, like you said, like this kid's excited now,
Yeah.
right? Like the future of this company is strong because the kid's passion is there now. Like if dad just said no to this and made him cut it on, the saw the whole time, like is the kid probably going to be excited about that? I bet not.
And you can hear that excitement in his voice every time he calls with. He's like, "Oh, I'm just calling with another dumb question." I'm like, "Oh, it's no dumb question is no question is dumb."
Yeah.
Obviously, this is something super new for them, so they're going to have questions. But you can just hear the excitement in his voice that he knows his machine's eventually coming, and it's going to take their business to the next level.
That's awesome.
And the best part about that is it sounds like his dad's going to be one of the guys that says, "I wish I would have done this years ago." For sure.
That's
Yep.
yeah, exactly. And that's again,
I can't believe it took so long to do this. Thank you, son.
Yeah.
And
that's my thing is like, I've said it so many times. You guys have heard me say it. Like, if your grandpa had access to this technology, he would have done it.
Exactly.
Like people get so hung up on the nostalgicness of like, we've always done it by hand. We're handmade cabinets. Nobody cares.
Then they call back, "I wish I would have done this
Yeah.
sooner."
Like, you're not going to lose business because you're not building them by hand. Like, okay, I shouldn't say that. You might lose one job because somebody's like, not built by hand. I'm not buying it. But you're going to pick up 20 jobs because you can get their job out the door before next year.
Right.
Like it's a big deal to people that you can give them a quality product in a convenient time frame. It's not convenient for them to wait for your custom product for 2 years. Like you said, it's the dad's gonna come back and be like, "Man, like we should have done this so much sooner. Like this is so much easier." And like my thing about this is like a CNC machine is a good way to excite your employees. As I've said, they see creativity possibilities, they see the abilities that they might not normally have without it. Right? Like, good, I can run a table saw, but I have no idea how to carve something. Well, now you have 3D carving capabilities, right? Like we can do more stuff with that. Or there's robots here to help me. Like what took me a day, I'm gonna get done in an hour. Like that's rewarding feeling, getting a job done and like not being completely beat by the end of the day to get it done. Like there's something that's that people dream about. They dream about being able to do stuff easier, right? And what about the sign projects that you've always wanted to get done, or what about things that you had to outsource before and pay somebody else that now you're doing in house, or what about branching out business to do more things for people? It's much better feeling to tell someone that you can do something, right? Think about being a sales guy for one of these businesses and being able to say the word yes. Like, yeah, we can do that. Versus having to be the guy that always has to say no. Like, no, we'd have to outsource. That's gonna be expensive. If you want us to do that, that's pretty custom. Like, we have some stuff that I think you'll like, but that's a lot harder sale, right? Than to be like, yeah, no problem. Like, we just have to come up with a design concept, but we can program that. Makes a guy, his job a lot easier. So guess what? That sales guy's probably gonna push your product a lot harder. It's a lot easier when you can say yes to people. And, CNC really, it often unleashes potential you just simply didn't have before. One dude in a shop who knows how to do it for 20 years knows how to do one thing for 20 years. He probably he's not out there every day perfecting his craft and trying to learn how to do new things. No, he's getting really good at that one thing he does over and over. CNC machines don't care. Go buy the program. You can build a guitar. Sign shops. You can get into ADA Braille signs. You can cut out stencils, LED signs, inlays, standoff letters, all of that stuff you can now do in-house. Couldn't do that before, right? What about cabinet shops? What can they do? You get into cutting drawers, right? Carvings, inlays, cutting boards, build-ins, range hoods, live edge, tops, furniture. I mean, what else could you do with a machine?
I always think back to all of these different people. If you think of everything that you named as a different person doing a different job, when
Correct.
COVID happened and everything got shut down, all these people changed what they were doing and they started cutting all those plastic barricades that separated us from everybody.
Yeah.
And little things like that. There were many other things, but
Yeah.
it was crazy to see people
Chris
who never
McCormick.
cut cabinet or cut what does he do, event exhibits, and
Yeah.
then bought another machine because he had so much work cutting plastic,
Well, it's crazy. Like I said, Chris McCormick's a perfect example. We have a video of him. If you haven't checked it out, go to ShopSabre. Go ahead and actually go to our YouTube, I think. Actually, ShopSabre.com. It's on ShopSabre. Thank you. Thank you for correcting myself there, Brandon. Good job. It is on our website, though. It's on ShopSabre, about us, and it's under the customer testimonial. And there's a video with Christopher McCormick, and he owns Hatch Exhibits. And he's like one of the, I'll be honest with you, the dude is amazing when it comes to like event production. He does some pretty wild stuff. And with that, he really was heavy in the shows and trade show stuff, that kind of stuff. Well, COVID hit. All of those things shut down. Like, so many business owners just called it, oh, well, we can't do our business, right? Not Chris. He was shut down for one weekend. He had to lay everybody off on Friday, went home that weekend and started figuring out what am I going to do? By Sunday, he was calling his guys back because he had developed how to create those face shields. And he literally had his guys in the shop working, and they literally never stopped. They started building, personal protection equipment and PPE stuff. And he obviously built trade show banners and stuff too. So he was able to like weld gowns, and he was not weld. So jeez, he was able to sew gowns, but he was able to do so many things with like other materials, and the ShopSabre allowed him to cut the plastics. And as you said, yeah, he ended up with a second ShopSabre. Now he has a third. He has 3 ShopSabres right now. 1 plasma, 2 routers, and I mean, it all stemmed from like a time when everybody else could have called it, right? Like, oh, well, we can't make trade show stuff. No, he just used his machine to be versatile. And he got all of his guys back in the shop doing something new. They all learned together, and he grew this business.
And that's why the machine's always just kind of limited to what you want to use it for.
Correct.
There's
The machine
so many
doesn't know.
things. Yeah, exactly.
Like, the machine's not sitting there like, sorry, Chad, I only know how to do MDF doors.
We're not cutting aluminum today, you jerk.
Yeah, not doing it. It's not in my DNA. No, it doesn't care. Give me an aluminum bit and a file, and I'm cutting whatever you tell me to cut, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Today, Router Bob and Sean are cutting today's project, and they are literally cutting six different materials, I think, today. Like, for one project. 6 different materials. Brass, plastic, aluminum, foam, wood, something else, and something else. I don't remember.
Sounds like an exciting video everybody should stay tuned for.
Stay tuned. More to come. But yeah, it's going to be cool. But we're cutting a bunch of different materials in one day. Like, how many employees can do that? If you throw 6 different materials at them, we're going to know how to do it. I'm going to bet you not very many of them. Like
Another reason to have an automatic tool changer as well.
Good upsell there. I like that. He's like, hey, by the way, you can buy tool changer. You should do that.
Travis at ShopSabre.com.
We're not at that point yet, Travis.
Yeah.
I just wanted another plug.
He's trying, Chad. He's trying. But, you think about it. Then, that's just on the router side. What about plasma? What about fabrication shops, Don't need to wait on other shops to cut things for you. Don't have to send it out to the laser or the water jet, You build your own brackets or your gussets or your flanges or whatever it is. Like I said, Chris McCormick has 2 routers and a plasma. He literally builds and today I met with him. Today we did a Zoom meeting. Him and I were going through some stuff. He's doing some stuff for our trade show. And we're literally talking. And in the background, he's got 3D printers on this wall, like a bunch of 3D printers, and they're just printed away. It's like a robot wall. They're just building parts. And I was like, Chris, you got like a little army of robots behind it. He's like, dude, it's awesome, isn't it? He's like, they're just cutting all my prototypes out right now. And I'm like, so I sat there for like just a few seconds watching his prototype wall. And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, sorry. He's like, yeah, let's get back to work. I'm like, no, I want to watch the prototype wall. Like, that's pretty sweet. But like, you think about that, and it's like, he's got this army of things going on behind him, and he didn't have to hire people to do that.
Well, and he's not waiting for people to cut his parts.
Correct. That's what he said. That's exactly what his statement was. He's like, dude, there was no reason for me to outsource this to somebody else. Like, I don't have to wait on anybody. I was making myself see if the part works. If it doesn't work, I throw it in the garbage. I literally throw it in the garbage and start over. Like, don't have to sit there and screw around. Pretty smart.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's the inspiration I think people need to find in their business. As you start looking at inspiration and being in a rut and trying to figure out what are you going to do next and where did you come from and where are you going, that's what you got to find is like, why did you start doing what you're doing today anyways? Remember, every single person listening to this has somebody in their life that doubted them. Don't let the doubters stop you, right? People who doubt you only exist because they can't do it, as Chad said, right? They doubt themselves. That doesn't mean you truly can't do it. If every single innovator in this world stopped because somebody told them they couldn't do it, we wouldn't have a lot of the technology we have today. I'll promise you that.
Didn't Henry Ford say something about if he asked people what they wanted back in the day, they would have said faster horses?
That's actually true. I think he said that.
It's like, I think they were asking him how he came up with the
Yeah.
automobile or something like
Yeah.
that. So if I asked people what they wanted out, they would have said faster horses.
But that's the truth. Like, if you let the people tell you what you're going to do next, you're not going to go as far. Because a lot of people in the world, including myself, like consumers, we don't know what we don't know. You only think, when I say, what do you want? You think of what exists today. Most people don't think like crazy, like, hey, what could I have? You know, like, that's the difference between like my brother and my dad and me. Like, I am that guy. Like, they're like, hey, what do you want? I'm like, and I look around at like things I want, right? My brother and my dad, I'm like, what do you want? They're like, we're going to come up with this crazy idea. Like, they come up with ideas that don't even exist. And I'm like, yep. Me too. Yeah, me too. I'm in. Yeah, I agree, guys. You know, like, I'm that guy. Like, I'm existent to give me an idea and I will help you market it and sell it. And we can, give me a reason why we've done that. My brother's the kind of guy that comes up with like, give me a problem. We're going to solve that problem today.
Like the T-slot machine?
Yeah, the T-slot machine, exactly. Like, we used to cut and drill T-slots by hand. My brother was like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. I'm going to build a machine. He just built his own machine to do the job in the shop that we used to have to do by hand.
And that's not the only machine out there.
Oh, God, no.
That's like,
yeah, Chris has come up with so many machines.
crazy.
Like, you think of all the equipment inside the shop that we use for manufacturing that Chris has designed. Like, and the same thing, like Billy in welding, he's fabricated a bunch of stuff. And like, we have guys in this building that literally come up with these ideas like on the fly to solve problems. I mean, the dust stock, it was born from Chris's annoyance of dust. Like, I'm done with dealing with dust everywhere. Dust stock, done. Like, and trust me, the first version of it was not pretty, right? I mean, we've had plenty of versions of this stuff. And like, we've done a lot of things through our business through innovation. And it's a lot of times finding inspiration, right? Like, why do we want to do something new? Where are we coming from? Where do we go? So that's what I got. I mean, that's my inspiration stuff. I've done a lot of talking today. I feel like I did all the talking today, guys.
I feel like I was second.
Chad was second for sure.
Are we rating ourselves?
Yeah, I feel like Nick got lost in the shuffle today. Sorry, Nick.
It's okay.
I left you in the dark.
Oh, it's all good.
You know who really didn't say much today?
Kyle, where the
Kyle.
heck is he?
Ka, where are you?
I'm stuck.
I'm stuck. That's funny.
Can't get out.
But no, I mean, it's one of those things. Find inspiration. Find things that excite you. Do things that are gonna make you enjoy your job again. And some of that is simply taking the stress out of things that are super. Let's try that. Super stressful. Like, you got to take those things and make them easier. Find that one thing this week that you're gonna find a win in. Right? I don't like doing this, so I'm gonna fix this one thing this week and fix one thing every week.
Can the one thing we fix this week be the wall?
Yeah. We tried to hire Chad, but he didn't show up for the job.
I need money up front.
Told you, I'm on net 30 terms. I'm not 30 terms.
You
And
knew my terms up front.
I only am going to pay you. I'm only going to pay you to fix the wall once I've seen the quality of work you do. I've seen no quality of work. I need references.
I showed you my office. My office is much better than this room.
You gotcha.
His office has got a 47-inch wraparound
49.
49-inch screen.
He allows me to talk for 2 seconds, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
And an IKEA stand with a LED light on it.
Wasn't IKEA.
Oh.
It was Amazon.
Amazon's IKEA.
Probably the same.
It
same
came from
place.
IKEA through Amazon.
For the record, I'm bringing a screw and a screw gun tomorrow, and I'm putting a screw in that.
What's
first
the
thing
over under
tomorrow.
that he's not going to do that, guys?
Not doing it.
He's not doing it.
No.
Not doing it. No chance.
You want to make a bet? I'm making a note right now on my calendar.
I do. I would like to bet that you're not going to fix my wall tomorrow.
Here we go. To be
You guys see
continued.
what you guys see what I did there?
You're making sure I'm going to get that wall fixed.
My wall's getting fixed, and I'm not going to have to worry about it.
It's not just one area.
Yeah, though. You got to see there's multiple areas. I need the whole wall fixed.
Well,
Bet
the
you-
only part that
I
I
mean,
care
what
about
I
is the
meant
one
to-
that's about to smack you in the head.
What I meant to say is I bet you can't fix that whole wall.
It's not going to come down the outlets holding it in place.
Yeah. Hey, Chad, help me out here. I bet he can't fix the whole wall.
That's why Chad's a woodworker.
Oh,
Yep.
my God.
Just pay me.
Just pay you.
It'll be
You know,
fixed.
but like I said, honestly, the world gives us plenty of reason to find negativity. Find the positive spin through things that you're doing. Find your inspiration. Be a game changer. Help your employees, help your business, help your customers. Be the change in someone's life that they needed.
Right.
There's something there that you can do, whether it's build stuff, quicker for them or, being the guy that they're outsourcing to. Be somebody local, right? There's plenty of guys building cabinets and installing cabinets that are buying them online, buying them through Home Depot, buying them through all these other options that they can't do custom stuff the way they wanted to, right? Be that guy. Sign makers, right? I mean, how many sign shops exist in the world that they're storefront sign shops? They have to outsource to somebody, but it's all online. Like, be that local shop that can help them.
Exactly. There's always something.
Always something.
You could reach out to me at chad@shopsabre.com.
I like that one.
Or you can email me at travis@shopsabre.com.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Well, now
get a
you
bounce
have.
back.
Bounce back. Bounce back. Oh, that's funny. Hey, how's Twitter doing?
All of the upgrades that Chad had offered to buy folks that followed us are gone.
You killed him. You killed Chad. You killed him. He's trying to drink water. And then Nick killed him.
That's how upset he was, though. Nobody got a free tool changer. I'd be pissed, too.
He was so mad that nobody got a free tool changer that he tried to end it right there with the water. He tried to just down himself.
Oh, man.
So anyways,
So you can follow us on Twitter at ShopSaberCNC. Also, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn.
Chad would like to throw in MySpace, but he's dying right now. We don't have MySpace still, but I'll throw it in there for you, Chad. It's MySpace. Chad, you okay over there, buddy?
I don't know, man.
Chad was drinking water, and I have never seen him start choking so bad in his life. That went bad, didn't it?
Ooh. Gonna take down that wall.
Travis, we really need you to put a screw in that wall. We almost lost it. Oh, my God. That was too good. Chad, I'm glad to see you're back, buddy.
Wrong tube.
I was worried there that we lost you. Well, just so you know, we just talked about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You know,
MySpace.
MySpace. I already told them that you wanted MySpace, but we don't have it. You know, Tom was everybody's first friend. Did you know that? But yeah, so with that, I think we're going to go back to finding our inspiration here, don't you guys?
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
I'm Nick.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.